Hi, I'm Bman and this is the complete beginner's guide to Conan Exiles. This video is part of my Immersive base building tutorial and will show you how to get everything you need for part 1. If you're already familiar with the interface, know how to gather basic resources, you might want to check the description to see if there's any topic that will still interest you, or jump straight to the part 1 of the building tutorial. You can either play online or in single player mode. Servers can vary greatly, so for simplicity's sake I'm going to start in single player on decadent difficulty, since this is meant to be the default. You can click custom to access all the server settings and tailor your single player experience to your liking. The buttons on the left will open drop-down panels where you can choose appearance options for your character. Hold right-click and move your mouse to make your character turn his head. This can be quite handy when choosing hairstyle. There is only one meaningful choice that will impact gameplay to make here. Choosing any religion except Chrome will give you access to a shrine which lets you craft special items, armors, weapons and even summon the avatar of the god. This choice does not lock you to one religion permanently. You can in fact learn all of them later. Use WASD to move your character around and space to jump. If you hold space and hit any vertical surface while jumping forward, your character will grab it. You can now release space and use WASD to climb in any direction and press C to let go of the wall. Alt will make your character dodge. On its own it will move you back, but you can combine it with movement keys to evade in any direction. This move will change depending on the armor you're wearing. In medium armor the roll distance is shorter, and in heavy you just jump back a bit. Control, labeled as block/offhand, changes depending on your equipped weapon. For example, if you have a shield, it's block, a backflip for daggers, and kick for most weapons. Hold shift to sprint. Left and right mouse buttons are your light and heavy attacks. X toggles between regular and combat stance. It will also draw your last equipped weapon or tool and shield. V toggles vanity cam, allowing you to look at your character. Holding R will open emotes menu. There aren't many to choose from now, but as you explore the world you might learn more. To switch between first and third person, either hit P or use the mouse wheel. Finally, press E to interact with objects or hold it to open context menu. You can interact with some objects in the game world, like the glowing wall to the right. Also, there's always a water skin and a note on the rock near your starting location. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just pick up the water skin, then hit I to open the inventory and drag it to the action bar. The 3 bars represent your experience, hit points and stamina. Fill the XP bar to level up. Keep your hit points above 0 to stay alive. Stamina is a bit more complicated. Many actions like attacking, dodging or climbing have stamina cost. The bar fills up on its own relatively fast, but should you deplete it completely, the bar will turn grey and you won't be able to perform any actions that require stamina until it gets back to full. Manage your stamina carefully to avoid this situation. There are 4 icons below. The first 2 are thirst and hunger. As time passes, the icons will gradually become empty, and the color of the remaining background will change from green to yellow, then red. Simply eat and drink to fill them back up, or you will die. The next icon represents the weight you're carrying. The more gear and items you haul, the more filled it will become. There is only a soft limit on carry weight. Once you go above it, the icon will flash and you will be forced to walk slowly. The last icon represents the temperature. The higher the white bar goes, the warmer it is. For now you will be okay, but later on in the game you will need to wear appropriate armor or use consumables to keep you from either freezing to death or heat stroke. This area will display status effects currently affecting your character. They can be both positive and negative. Next to the name of the effect, there may be a number or hourglass. Some effects can be stacked, and the number shows how many stacks are affecting you. Other effects have a certain duration, and the hourglass displays the time left until the effect goes away. Some effects have neither, and may be triggered, for example, by your location. On your right side there are two hint areas. The upper shows journey steps you might want to complete next, and the lower one, keybinds for common actions. The actions shown will change depending on what you're currently doing. If you prefer a clean interface, you can turn those off. Hit escape, go to settings, click on gameplay tab and untick the boxes next to the elements you want to hide. While in the menu, you might also check the keybinds tab and remap everything to your liking. I'll explain the remaining parts of the interface in a moment. First, let's follow the road and gather some basic resources. Press the interact button near the bushes to gather plant fiber, insects and seeds. As you pick up stuff, notifications will pop up on the right side of the screen. They show all the changes in your inventory. Each bar will have the icon and the name of the item that changed. If the background is red, you lost it. If it's grey, you gained it. The number shows the amount you lost or picked up. When gathering resources, it is followed by another number that shows how much you have in total. You might get different amount of resources from each click. How much exactly depends on your server settings. If you pick up usable item, it will automatically move to the first empty slot of your action bar. Pick up small rocks and branches along the way. If your thirst and hunger meters are getting low, the insects are actually edible and the water skin still has some water left. Notice the timer under the insects. All food items will decay after a set time. The bar under the water skin shows how full it is. To eat and drink, simply press their corresponding buttons. Now that we actually have some stuff, hit I and let's take a look at the inventory. This screen is divided into three panels: inventory, character and crafting. Bar at the top shows current encumbrance, and the white buttons next to it are filters you can use to easily find all items belonging to a category. Don't mind the number of slots in the inventory. The game will add more and a scroll bar when needed. Carry weight is your only limit. The crafting panel on the right is used to make new items. Once you select what you want to craft, panel below will show you required materials and buttons underneath it will become active if you have enough. First button makes single item, second all, third 10. Basic clothes require only plant fiber. Let's make some now. Crafting is done one item at a time. If you try making something else before the first item is done, it will be placed in the queue. You can always see what item is currently being made on the main screen in the bottom right corner. Also, inventory change notification will pop up once it's done. In this case, it's pretty obvious to tell that crafting's finished, since armor will be automatically equipped to the empty slots. There's a line of buttons at the top. Let's click the attributes now. Each time you level up, you get some points to spend on improving your stats. Highlight any with the mouse and the panel on the right will display a short description and list of perks associated with it. Perks are earned for every 10 points you reach in a statistic. Don't mistake it for points spent. You can see the cost of increasing an attribute here. Since all my stats are at 0, it's just 1 point, but after every 5 points gained, the cost will raise by 1. At max level, 60, you will have 390 points to spend, and it takes 275 to max out an attribute and gain all of its perks. There are many ways to build a character, and honestly, this topic would require a separate guide. Don't be afraid to experiment. These choices are not permanent. Leveling up also gives you knowledge points which you can spend to learn new feats. Let's go there now. Feats give you new crafting recipes. They are divided into categories accessible by clicking on one of the buttons on top of the left panel. The first button on the left shows you the cornerstone feats of each category. The background color of each icon shows whether you already knew the feat, green, are able to learn it, yellow, or you don't meet the requirements, red. Clicking on a feat will show you detailed info on the right panel, level and cost required to learn it, prerequisite feats, and a list of recipes that the feat will teach you. Click Unlock in the lower right corner to learn the selected feat. I'm going to learn Warrior and Primitive Cook now. Also, notice that if you select a feat, its prerequisites will be highlighted with orange outline, and on the right panel, their icons' backgrounds will use the same green, yellow, red color scheme, so you can quickly identify if you can spend points to learn it now, or need to level up some more. Some of the recipes will have a line, crafted at blacksmith's bench or armorer's bench, etc. This means that you will have to use the specified crafting station to make them. If that line is absent, the item is created in your inventory screen. Armors will also display their temperature resistance. Blue snowflake for cold resist and yellow sun for heat. The number of colored bars shows how much resistance to given element they provide. Even at max level you won't have enough knowledge points to learn everything, but just like with attributes, the choices you make here are not permanent. At level 15 you can learn Fireball Cauldron feat, which will give you access to Yellow Lotus potion that resets your attribute and knowledge points. If you do use it, just remember that in order to repair your gear, you must have the associated feat learned. Having learned the warrior feat, I can finally make weapon. Looks like I have everything except twine. So let's make some. And now the sword. It will be placed in the first empty slot of the action bar. To equip it, just hit the corresponding button. If your action bar was full already, it will be in the inventory and you'll have to drag it there yourself. Crafting gave me enough XP to level up again. At level 5 bows become available. So open Feats menu, select Archer and click Unlock. Check the requirements. Branches, plant, fiber and twine. Easy. Now the arrows. Archer feat unlocks two kinds, Flinthead and Bone, and I can't make either. Bones can be harvested from dead creatures. As for the feathers, easiest way is to simply kill birds. Ostriches are plenty later on. The other way is to look for nests, which are usually located on top of cliffs around here. In order to gather resources more efficiently, I'm going to craft basic tools as well. Stone pick and hatchet. To use them, simply equip them and use the attack button to mine rocks, chop trees and harvest dead enemies. There may be a bird's nest on top of one of those rocks. Look for one that has some ledges to rest while climbing. Always pay attention to your stamina while climbing. Keep in mind, for later, that the amount of stamina you lose with every step depends on your armor weight. So, the cliff you climb with no problems on a regular basis might kill you after you just got your shiny new armor. The weight of your inventory items does not matter, so you can simply unequip your heavy armor whenever you need to climb. There is a way to save yourself. If you notice that you won't make it to the top, let go of the cliff, C, and then while holding W press space to grab the wall while falling. Remember that if you use all of your stamina you will have to wait for the bar to completely refill before you can use it again, and you will hit the ground way faster than that. So always let go while you still have some. And there it is. Simply hit E, interact, to gather feathers. To go down, face the cliff, slowly move back until you start falling, then immediately press and hold W, forward, and hit space to grab the wall. Keep holding W all the time and alternate between C to start falling and space to grab the wall again, until you're on the ground. Arrows are made in batches of 10. I like to keep them on the action bar so that I always know how many I still have. Remember to drag them over the bow. A small arrow should appear next to it. Finally, some trees. Use hatchet to get wood and branches, or pick to get wood and bark. In this area you will start encountering animals and other exiles. The little ones are harmless, but attacking them may provoke the adults, which are otherwise neutral. Hit Q to lock target. Keep moving and evading, then counter-attack. Backtrack a bit, that way you will fight in the area that you know is safe. Both your light and heavy attacks can be chained to perform a combo. You can change the type of each consecutive attack, you can always cancel attack by dodging. There is a white icon showing up over enemy health bar from time to time. This means that the enemy is suffering from a status effect. In this case, crippled, which is a movement speed penalty. Hit escape, then settings, gameplay, and make sure that weapon trails are enabled. Now watch as I perform various attacks with different weapons. There are 4 status effects you can inflict on your enemies. They are permanently tied to weapon types and their specific combos. The color of the weapon trail shows which effect that attack inflicts upon enemy. Yellow, cripple, reduces movement speed. Red, bleed, deals damage over time. Blue, sunder, reduces armor. Purple, shield smash, you will not stagger after hitting blocking enemy. Here's an example. The light attacks have no special effect and the enemy is staggered after hitting my shield. His heavy attack, on the other hand, has the shield smash effect, so the animation completes and his combo is not interrupted. If you are hit by enemy attack, you will be staggered for a moment. This will in most cases interrupt your own attack animations, but not always. Some attacks have hyper armor, meaning they cannot be interrupted. All two-handed hammers heavy attacks have this feature throughout the whole animation. For other weapons, heavy attacks give you hyper armor for a brief moment, just as the attack is about to connect, with the exception of two-handed swords, which also have some hyper armor on their light attacks. As you can see, even though I'm getting completely obliterated, my attacks are not interrupted. Both work differently. Shot placement may trigger additional effects. Headshots do more damage, and hitting legs will cripple the target. You can also craft special arrows later. After the fight, use either pick or hatchet to harvest resources from enemies. Sometimes you will get ahead of the foe you just vanquished. It can be turned into placeable trophy after learning the appropriate rank of taxidermist feat. Whenever you encounter shalebugs, the turtle-like creatures, you should also find nests nearby. The eggs are safe to eat raw. A word of warning. As I said before, usable items are automatically placed in vacant slots on your action bar. So, harvesting a creature might give you some raw meat, which is usable, and you're just one misclick away from food poisoning. Press E to drink when standing near a body of water. Also, use your water skin to refill it. There are small camps along the river. The other exiles will attack you, but there are some friendly NPCs too. If you have trouble fighting 2 or 3 exiles at the same time and want to avoid them, wait for dusk, since the exile camps always have a lit bonfire and will be extremely easy to spot from distance once the sun starts to set. After dispatching the enemies, you can press interact to loot them. They can also be harvested for human flesh, hides and special items for your religion, but you will have to use dedicated tool for that, which is crafted at the shrine. Harvesting destroys the corpse, but any items you might have forgotten to loot before will be placed in a small sack on the ground. Interact with it to get them. Always search the camps after the fight. Often you will find chests with valuable loot there. You can explore for a bit now if you like, and when you find a nice spot, we'll start building our first base. I've arrived at my chosen spot. First thing I'm going to do is setting up camp. Campfire takes only branches and stone to make, and the hides can be fashioned into a bedroll. To place any object, drag it to your action bar, then exit inventory, hit the corresponding button, position it with mouse, and if you want to, rotate it with mouse wheel or adjust height by holding Z and scrolling. Once you're happy with the placement, click your left mouse button. Now interact with the campfire and add some fuel, wood or branches. Hold shift to split stacks. Then the raw meat and hit the start button. The campfire will work as long as there's fuel and raw materials in its inventory. You can use other slots as temporary storage. Bedroll allows you to respawn here. When you die, you'll be presented with a choice of respawning at your bed, bedroll or in the desert where you started the game. You are limited to 1 bedroll at a time. Placing another will destroy the first. There is no such limit on beds. To select which one you want to respawn at, interact with it. Now go to the feats screen. I'm going to unlock Apprentice Mason, Apprentice Stairmaker and Apprentice Fence Maker in construction. At level 10 crafting stations became available, so I'll unlock those too. Blacksmith, Carpenter and Tanner. Then, also in survival category, Bed Shaper and Iron Tools. After that, move to Armor and unlock Armorer. You may also grab Improved Campfire and Furniture Maker, or leave that for later. Stone building pieces are crafted by hand and require stone and wood. Every building must start with the foundations, so time to gather resources and make them. And my pig's broken. I can hit its button on the action bar and it will start to repair. Once the little cogwheel is gone, it will be usable again. To repair any item, you need to move it to the same place where it was originally crafted, have some of the materials used in making it, and know the required fit. This worked since I met all those requirements. More advanced tools and weapons will have to be placed along with the materials in the appropriate crafting station. You will be able to craft repair kits later, to use in the field as long as the object is not completely broken, so pay attention to the white bars below your tools and weapons on the action bar. To limit the amount of running to and from your build site, craft your building blocks while gathering resources. A building piece will weigh less than the materials required to make it. Once the foundations are done, let's put some crafting stations in our base to get some better tools and gear, which will make the rest of the building go faster. This is simple enough, as we already gathered the materials required before, with one exception. Blacksmith's bench requires bricks and iron bars. Bricks are easy. Build furnace, add fuel, then put stones in it and hit start. 10 stones are needed to make 1 brick. Iron bars are also made in the furnace, but we will need ironstone for that. 2 ironstone make 1 iron bar. The blacksmith's bench require 50 bricks and 75 iron bars, so gather 500 stone and put it in the furnace along with a nice supply of wood, and while waiting for the bricks, let's head north across the river and get some ironstone. Make sure to get a nice supply of cooked meat and arrows before you go. Exploring new territories is always dangerous. You will encounter new enemies with unfamiliar movesets and can quickly get into trouble. If you are way over your head, just like I am now, you can run to the nearest tall rock, climb it and use your bow to safely kill whatever was chasing you. Run, don't sprint. You will need stamina for climbing. I'm just gonna flail my sword wildly, hoping for the best. Oh, there's a croc now too. Great. Pay attention to your stamina. Never use it all, as you will then be forced to wait until the bar completely refills. In case you do, or you just want to reposition, disengage the target lock, Q, turn around and run away, not sprint. It is faster than going backwards with target lock on. Well, there's some Ironstone, and I've got some hides out of this whole mess. So, I'm almost dead and out of food. If you find yourself in a situation like that, here's what to do. First, carefully look around. Grab some stones and branches to make campfire. If you killed whatever left you in such a state, harvest it for meat. If you didn't, look for food sources nearby. Bushes to gather insects are safe and plentiful. Also, there are some pretty harmless creatures you can hunt for food, like rabbits, small shellbacks or gazelles. Time to go hunting. Shooting gazelle in the legs didn't really work. They are fast and nimble, cripple doesn't last long, and well, I'm a poor marksman. Let's try headshots instead. Hold right mouse button to charge, then left click to release the arrow. Aim at the top of the head. Now just place the campfire in a safe spot and cook the meat. Eating is one of the ways to regenerate lost health. The basic rule is, you can only have one healing effect from a given source at a time. Let's look at an example. Eating food adds one regen effect. Herbal tea adds two separate regen effects, and healing wraps add another one. Drinking aloe potion only refreshed the duration of the third regen, since it was in the same category as one of the effects of the herbal tea. So to put it simply, you can stack healing, but only if it comes from different sources. Since I have only food to heal myself, I should eat some, then look at the hourglass, and as the effect is about to expire, eat again to refresh its duration. Keep in mind that receiving damage of any kind will immediately stop healing, and for the healing wraps to work, you have to stand still in regular stance. They will also remove bleed and critical effect after a few seconds. This plateau was my intended destination, as there's plenty of ironstone around. Look for blue rocks near the cliffs. You can also hunt ostriches here for feathers. Finally, look for black rocks to mine coal, which is efficient fuel source for your furnace. All the stones I left in the furnace got turned into bricks, so after the iron bars are done, I can place the remaining crafting stations. The trip to the north gave me enough XP to reach level 15, so now I can unlock the last basic crafting station, Fireball Cauldron. It's used for many things, for example brewing healing potions. The only resources still needed to craft everything I've used on my base building tutorial are iron reinforcements, shaped wood and tar. Place some iron bars in the blacksmith's bench, then select iron reinforcement from the panel on the right and craft as many as needed. This station does not require fuel. Shaped wood is made on carpenter's bench in the same way. Tar is a byproduct of tanning hides. Place the hides in the tannery, add bark and press start. You will receive leather and tar. If you haven't done so earlier, you should learn improved campfire and furniture maker too. Tables, chairs, braziers and many other items used to decorate the base are made using Artisan's Table, unlocked by the furniture maker feat. Take a look at the decorations tab of your feats panel and you'll easily find them. Once you have enough points to spare, unlock Apprentice Tamer and Thrall Taker to gain access to the pet and thrall systems. This covers everything needed to follow my immersive base building tutorial part 1. If you found this video in some other way and want to see why I placed just a random couple of foundations here, instead of making something that actually resembles a home, check out part 1 of the tutorial. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'll answer it as soon as I'm able. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you very much for watching.